Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ESRL. It is the season finale of the Division 1 Championship here in Brazil. As always in ESRL, I think it has been the championship finale for every single season in every single ESRL championship of any kind, and for good reason. Wonderful track. Absolutely fantastic track. So many stories, so many different things I've seen on this circuit, both in league racing and in real life F1. It is just fantastic, and I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this finale goes. The champion, of course, is already decided in ESRL this season, the Drivers' Champion. It is TF Martin, who is the Season 7 ESRL Champion, his second title in the league, or his second Division 1 title in the league, as Robin Brain nearly bins it out turn 12 there, but yeah, congratulations to him. He has been absolutely astonishing all season long. There's such a much more mature driver than he was back when he won his first title a few seasons ago, and the points gap is proof of that. Winning with a round to spare. I'll talk more about the championship in a second, but in the meantime, legendary top one Twitch streamer of all time, well, to his fans, Patty Pat, takes us around a lap of Brazil through the center S's, a little bit hesitant out of turn 1, but not too bad. Into turn 4 now, misses the apex a little bit, again, doesn't quite use all of the track, but not too bad for Patty Pat as he now heads up towards turn 6, throws the car around, a little bit too much, way too much actually, steering, and he had to correct it twice as he went through the corner, but not too bad. Through turn 8 and down towards turn 9, well, I say not too bad, it wasn't great, he won't be happy with that. And then the last two actual real corners on the circuit, even this one isn't really, no braking. This is the last braking zone on the circuit. Through turn 12, locks the rears, gets a bit squirrely on the exit as well, and down to the line he goes. A 69 on the hard tyres for Robin Brain. Palang is for some reason on the intermediates, but we'll give him what he wants. Patty Pat across the line, a 10.0. That's much more like a decent pace. Palang is somehow only a second behind him on the intermediates. But all right. Vader Boy coming to the line, but he is not on a competitive lap time at the moment. So we'll ride on board with someone else who is. Aces versus Kings and Carlitos on the mediums, about to come across the line to start his first lap. Yeah, starting on those medium tyres, an interesting choice. We'll see how it goes for him. I'm sure he'll put on the softs later on, but the mediums, just wanting to get the feel for the circuit. Hello to Harris in the chat, good to see you. And yes, we've just started, we're here in qualifying, and hello to Speed in the chat as well. I am well, even though it's been an extremely stressful day. To finish it off with ESRL. All clear qualifying and race, thank you, that is good to know. So Mahmoud and Palang being on the intermediates makes even less sense. But anyway, Carlitos invalidates as he goes across turn 6, and he'll be disappointed with that. So Aces versus Kings instead in the Haas, goes through the center S's. Little bit hesitant, but it's easy to be. Really hard to nail the center S's on this circuit. That's turns 1, 2, and 3. You've really got to nail them. But Aces, a little bit hesitant through turn 4 as well. Now through up the hill towards turn 6 and 7. And he's done exactly what Patty Pat did, just completely lost the rear. And I do wonder how people are losing the rear there. Are they... because you've just got to come off the throttle just a tad. You don't have to come off that much. So Yeah, it's strange. Maybe a setup issue for the guys who are losing the rear through that corner. Clemo is also... What is this epidemic of the intermediates now? What is happening? What is going on out here? But anyway, Carlitos is going again. No, he's getting out of people's way. So no lap for him. So run on board with Reshka instead, but he has invalidated. So I don't know if he'll be finishing the lap. Patty Pat improves with a 1 minute 9.3. I am expecting pole to be probably a low 1 minute 8 is what I would say. So that's not too bad from Patty Pat, but usually the times are very, very close in qualifying around here. So we'll see if that materializes. Yeah, I guess they are messing with me, Harris. I suppose so. Reshka coming through sector 1. It is a 17.3 through the first sector. Maybe a couple tenths off where he would want to be, but into the middle sector now he goes up the hill towards turn 6. Is he going to make the same mistake as everyone else? Or Aces and Patty Pat? No, he's perfectly smooth through there is Reshka. And nicely on the apex for turn 7 as well, or turn 8 rather. And now down towards turn 10. It can be tricky this corner, especially on the exit here. It can be tough to get the throttle down without losing the rear. But Reshka's done all right there. Down towards the last real corner on the circuit, turn 12. He gets that relatively okay. I'm rubbish at that corner. I cannot get the exit speed. I don't know how people get the throttle down so early without going wide. But anyway, Reshka gets a little bit of a toe off of the Haas going into the pits, and he goes to provisional pole position, a 1 minute 8.9. Into the 1 minute 8s we go, and I'm sure we'll go even further into that range as the session goes on. I think my prediction for pole is a 1 minute 8.1. That is what I'm going to say. Maybe an 8.0. Maybe Carlitos can get into the 7s. But I don't think anyone else really on this grid is capable of that. Johnny Stokes to the line, and that's a 1 minute 8.1. Wow. So maybe the pole times will be a little lower than I thought, which is great to see. Vader Boy goes to P4. He's not far off Patty Pat. That's a decent effort. Jack Alaco puts in a good effort as well. Goes on to the front row. 1 minute 8.8 in his Haas at the moment. Who's coming across the line? It is Martin. Yeah, here he comes. Down towards the line comes the new champion-elect, and there we go, into the 1 minute 7s. Well then, game on. 7.9 from our new champion. And, well, I'll talk about a little more about the championship. 3 drivers on Inters. What is this? What is happening? Barvish misses the braking zone by about 700 kilometers for turn 1 and goes far too deep. So he'll have to try again. But yes, Martin has won the Drivers' Championship. But the Constructors is still very much in the balance. It is Red Bull who lead from Ferrari by 26 points. That is a lot. That is a lot. Ferrari are going to need one heck of a final race to close that gap. But they're perfectly capable of it, especially at Brazil, where so often you see people who should really be on lock for the title into Brazil at ESRL, and it all goes completely wrong. So yeah, I think there's still plenty of reason to be excited for the Constructors' Championship battle, despite the large gap. I think Ferrari can still definitely win it, but not if Zoxerus goes on out and Inters as well. What is happening? What, is this some elaborate joke? Robin Brain goes to P3 with a 1 minute 8.2. That's more like it as well. What is happening? Is everyone taking the... taking the mickey? What is this? There's some coordinated prank. Okay, he's gone back on the softs and Scott spins it just as I ride on board with him. That is unfortunate for him. And Carlitos on the mediums goes down towards the line. He's going to drain all his remaining ERS there at the bottom. all the way down into the single-digit percents to the line. A 1 minute 8.2 on the medium tyres, and Carlitos, this man, definitely the favourite for pole today with a time like that on tyres like that. Aces, though, coming through Sector 2 right now, and Speed Alcoholic not far behind him, 17.0 in Sector 1. That is some 4 tenths faster than what Reshka did a few minutes ago. So Speed already on track for the top 5. You know they're taking when they go on wets, yeah, for sure. I hope no one goes on wets, because that really would set me off. Aces to the line. That is a very good effort from Aces. P5 just ahead of his teammate, and he'll be very happy with that. Scott coming through as well, but here comes Speed Alcoholic, the man from South Africa who wants to secure the Constructors' title along with his teammate today. He'll do better than that if they finish where they are. P1 for Speed Alcoholic. He takes provisional pole by just 7 thousandths of a second from his teammate. Brilliant stuff. Leader. Graphic on the side. Zoxyrus is on an outlap. A little late into the session, and Carlitos has retired from the session in the pit lane. So I guess he just fancies a challenge, maybe? I don't know. But he is going to start this race from, at best, 5th position. Zoxyrus coming through Sector 1 now for his first attempt through the Senna S's. Pretty nicely done from my perspective. The man who won the season opener here in Australia in Season 7. It was his debut race in ESRL, and he took the win. It was a fantastic performance from him. The rest of the season hasn't quite gone to plan, or in the same vein, really, for Zoxyrus. In fact, I believe that's his only win of the season. Zoxyrus. It is indeed, yeah. The only win of the season was the season opener, so he'll hope that he can match that and have a win at the season opener and the season finale. Wouldn't that be nice? Robin Brain also retiring early. What is all this strange behavior? Am I commentating on bots? Like, are these all just AIs? Like, what is happening? Zoxyrus, though, goes to the line, and it's going to be a 1 minute 8.3, which puts him into the top 6. I think the biggest thing that Zoxyrus has made a name for himself this season has been his insane overtakes. It's been absolutely outrageous to watch sometimes. Oh, it's full quali. That's why. Okay, thank you, Robin. I've never noticed that otherwise. It's full quali, everyone. So it's only the bottom, probably the bottom 2 that will go out in this Q1. So all you need to do is set a decent time. So yeah, I do apologise. Never realised that. And neither would I have done. But here we are. Vader Boy goes to... Oh, sorry, that was Mahmood, who goes to P13 in the Alpine. He'll be pretty pleased with that for now. That sees him out of the danger zone. On his debut, same with Bavish07, Bavish, don't know, Bavish... We'll see. But Clemo is very much in the danger zone at the moment. He's got to be careful. Scott, at the moment, down in last place. He needs to find a lap. There's not long left in the session. Right, so, explanation for you, Harris. So, Q1, we will whittle down, depending on how the game feels, either to 14 or 15. Usually it should be 15, but when it's smaller than a full grid, you can never tell. Sometimes the game decides to eliminate a couple more people for some reason. But anyway, so the bottom couple, or bottom 1, however many the game wants, get eliminated in Q1. And then we move on to Q2, which is the second session. That'll be another 15 minutes, I believe. And then it is everyone except the top 10 who gets eliminated. And then in Q3, the top 10 have a shootout for those top 10 positions. Wherever you finished, if you got eliminated in Q1 or Q2, wherever you finished is where you will start on the grid for the race. So just qualifying, same as usual, but with a few extra sessions and some eliminations for the bottom runners, basically. Scott, though, coming to the line, very important lap for him. He's currently right there at the bottom, and he goes up to P9. That should see him to safety. Very nice effort from Scott, and he will be safely through to Q2. So now Barvish and Mahmood are the drivers at risk. Perhaps Vader Boy as well, I don't know. But Vader Boy only 7 thousandths behind Patty Pat. That is very, very close. Is he on a lap at the moment? He is not, but Barvish is. He's just starting one, I believe. Down towards the end of Sector 1 he goes. Oh no, never mind. He is not on a lap after all. On 18, 18-second first sector is way, way down on the pace. So no one really on a lap at the moment. Plenty of people coming into the pits to retire. Reshka's gone again. He doesn't feel entirely safe. I think he's relatively safe. But he wants to make absolutely sure. He wasn't happy with that first run, and you can see why. A tenth and a half already he's gained in Sector 1. Now into the middle sector he goes, using that battery up the hill and through turn 6. Yeah, nicely through there. The car pretty much on rails for that Williams as he goes through this middle sector now. The tight and twisty section of this Interlagos circuit compared to the relatively straight sectors 1 and 3. Round 2, turn 12, 4.5 tenths up, and this should see him very safely through into Q2. 30 seconds left in the session. Vader Boy is still in the pits, so he's going to have to hope that drivers behind him don't improve. Reshka goes to P6. That is much, much more like it. Great effort from him, but he has used a set of tyres to do that. So we'll see if that hurts him later on in qualifying. Barvish has invalidated, so nothing from him, and he's not going to have time. 3, 2, 1, and that is qualifying over. So everyone on their final runs, and Mahmood has already invalidated. So if the game does decide to eliminate the bottom 2, he is out along with Barvish, but Barvish is definitely out of qualifying. Speed sets an even faster lap for literally no reason. I don't know if he realizes it's full quali as well, to be honest. But he goes with a 1 minute 7.7, and wow, that is significantly faster than he did in APP F1 about an hour and a half ago. So who knows? That was unused softs. Okay, Speed. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you that then. Jacko was into the wall, as we saw him just then, but he should be fine. Safely into Q2. And the rest just coming through now to finish off. So there we have it. Q1 is done. How many people is it going to eliminate? That's the question. One or two? Or three? Maybe it's feeling like three. Or maybe the game just isn't feeling like progressing the session at all because we've got a black screen. Yeah, I think that is actually the case. The game just doesn't feel like progressing us. Okay. Okay. I guess it's time for Q2. We'll find out right now how many people are eliminated. Or will we? Are we going to load in? Oh dear. There we eliminate one, so there we go. There we have it. Alright. 15 minutes of Q2. So we had one elimination, and that was the newbie. I forget the name. I know it started with Bar, but I don't remember the rest. But this is where things are going to start getting a little bit more interesting, because the bottom 5 now get eliminated before we go into Q3. Just to give a little more context around the different sessions, Q1 to Q3, the drivers only have a particular set of tyres, so they'll have 3 soft tyres or 4 soft tyres if they chose the soft allocation, to use over the course of all 3 sessions. So they've got to use their tyres very wisely, because otherwise they're not going to have fresh tyres available for their Q3 runs if they get through and they've already used all of their previous fresh sets to get through to Q3, and they haven't really got much else that they can do. So there's a bit of strategy involved as well in terms of where the tyres go. And Robin Brain is utilising that. He's going for the hard tyres to start off with in Q2 to see if they're enough to get him through into Q3 so he doesn't have to use the softs. But we'll see. I think he may be biting off more than he can chew, trying to get through on the hards. I think the rest of the grid might just be able to push him down into those bottom 5, but he does seem very quick from the time he did in Q1, so we'll find out relatively shortly. Who is the lead car? I believe it's Carlitos in Sector 2 at the moment. I think probably the favourite for pole is the Spanish driver as he comes through Sector 2. He's already got 2 wins this season, does Carlitos, and if he actually makes all of the races next season, he is a favourite for the title, because he has seen an outrageous amount of improvement in the last 6 months or so. But Carlitos down towards the line. Don't worry about it, Harris. Absolutely fine. I don't mind explaining things for you. And that is why he's the favourite of a pole. A 1:07.3 is unbelievably quick. I really can't see anyone on this grid beating that. Speed Alcoholic goes to P3, but he's a long way down on what he did in Q1, so he's going to be frustrated with that one. Robin Brain, P5 on the hards, but a long way down. Reshka goes to 4th, Ace is just behind, and I think Robin Brain is going to quickly discover that a lap on the hards is not going to be enough, no matter how fast he is, to get himself through to Q3. It's just enough to beat Mahmood, but I don't think maybe Vader Boy will be slower, but I think everyone else that's yet to do a lap is going to be able to beat that hard tyre time. So Robin Brain's going to have to rethink, I think. Who's going to be next across, though? Is it going to be Patty Pat? Where is he? Jacko in Sector 2. He is invalidated, so we will ride on board with Patty Pat. But he is nearly accidentally going into the wall, but getting out of people's way, so he's not on a lap time either, clearly. And Jacko bins it as well anyway in Sector 2, but he had invalidated. And so has Scott now on the exit of Turn 4, I imagine. That is his lap done. So Zoxyrus probably going to be the next to start a lap in the Ferrari. Clemo and Martin still in the pits for now. But I think anyone in the low 1 minute 8 is safe. It's when you start getting to the high 1 minute 8s, that's when you're going to be in trouble in Q2 here in ESRL. Zoxyrus through the center S as he goes. Goes very wide on the exit of Turn 3, which is a surprise. Usually you see people hug the inside to take the shortest route possible through that corner, and Zoxyrus becomes the next victim of the Turn 4 exit. He has invalidated, just about going too far over that white line. Robin Brain invalidates as well on his way into the pits, I believe. And our new champion is on an outlap and ready to start his first run of Q2. 9.5 minutes to go, so he's got plenty of time to get something on the board, get himself safely into the final session. Down he goes towards Turn 1. Look at the wide entry that he takes to use as much of the track as is humanly possible, but he's a bit wide through Turn 2, and he loses his grip through Turn 3 as a result. Speed used the same set of softs again, so that's why he was quite far off, but he should be safe with that time anyway. 17.1 through Sector 1 for Martin, despite that mistake at Turn 2, so goes to show how quick he is. Through the middle sector he goes now. Who was that? That's Scott to P4. A 1 minute 8.3. It's teetering on the edge. He is probably safe, but I don't think it's guaranteed. Martin, here he goes through the last few corners now. Short track here in Brazil. To the Sector 2 line, 51.2. And as long as he doesn't mess up this last corner, which he doesn't, he should now be pretty safe in that Red Bull. Into Q3. Zoxyrus is invalidated again, by the way, as Martin comes to the line, and that is a 1 minute 8.0 safely through to Q3. Very, very safely for the new champion. Clemo on an outlap, Patty Pat as well on an outlap. I don't think Clemo has actually come out the pits until now, but Patty Pat invalidated earlier, so we'll see what he can do this time. But Scott will be very pleased with that lap. That should definitely see him through into Q3. Speed's going out again. He doesn't feel safe. I think he's completely safe with that lap, but he is not as confident as me. So out he goes again on a fresh set of tyres, I assume this time, as Patty Pat gets started with his run wide through Turn 1, and that's not going to set him well for Turn 2 and 3. Indeed, it doesn't. Had to go quite deep out of Turn 2 and lift off the throttle more than he would have wanted. A 17.2 though isn't too bad through that first sector, only a tenth off of Martin as he comes through now up the hill towards Turn 6 and 7. Oh, gets a little bit squirrely there midway through the corner, just as he did in Q1, but he's just about okay. Now towards turn number 9, I believe. I always get mixed up in the middle of the track, but a big lock-up into that right-hander. Lost him quite a bit of time. 52.1 through Sector 2. Oh, and very, very deep at the last corner, and invalidates as well. So Patty Pat, 6.5 minutes to go. He's going to have to try once again to get a lap on the board, because still nothing for him for now. Clemo to the line. Is this going to see him safely through? Johnny Stokes already got safely through in P2. Clemo only a 1 minute 9.0, and that is far from safe. He is in big trouble if he can't improve that lap time. He's already teetering on the edge of the drop zone, and as soon as Jacko, Zoxyrus, and probably Patty Pat as well improve a bit more, he is going to be knocked into that bottom 5. Mahmood as well could be a threat, although he's not on a lap right now. He's bailed out of this one. But Mahmood only 100th behind him, currently in the drop zone. Jackalacko, he's got to go again as well on these used set of softs. Down to the line he goes. And into turn 1 for the Scottish driver in the Haas. Much better through the centre S's. Very nicely done on the brakes and on the throttle on the exit of turn 1 all the way through turns 2 and 3. Really carries the momentum well. Speed Alcoholic, by the way, to P2. Only 3/10 off Carlitos. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things when you consider just how fast Carlitos is. But you know, at Brazil, that is a lot of time still, because it's such a short circuit with so few margins for error. The times are usually very, very razor sharp close on this circuit, and that's one of the things to look forward to about qualifying here. As Jacko, 52.1 in sector 2 through turn 11 or 12, whichever bloomin' one it is, he goes, and down towards the line. DRS is going to be enabled now. The rear wing flap opens, and to the line he goes, using that overtake. Doesn't hug the wall down to the line, but it's not safe. It's far from safe for Jackalacko. It is only a 1 minute 8.9, and he is only 10th. And Zoxyrus is still yet to put a lap on the board with 4.5 minutes to go. The race winner in Australia is in trouble here, actually. He's got to get something on the board. Same with Patty Pat. He's just coming out the pits now in the McLaren. Vader Boy needs to find some time as well. But particularly Clemo, surprisingly, in the danger zone right now. Reshka, Aces, feeling a little less safe. Robin Brain as well. I think that is still his lap on the hards. No, actually, he did improve that. Definitely improved that from his hard lap. So he's into P7. He should be safe with that as well. Carlito is the man to beat this evening. Speed, I think, is a race for P2. I think it's... I don't think anyone is beating Carlito. To be honest, he is probably now, with how much he's improved the last 6 months, he's probably the man to beat every time he comes on the track in ESRL. I just don't see anyone on this grid right now beating him. He's too fast. Well, you know, all credit to him. But yeah, we'll see if it makes this race a little bit boring in terms of the race for first, but we'll see. Zoxyrus comes through. Sector 2, a 51.2. That's a lot better, but it's still not setting the world alight, I don't think. Down to the line comes the Ferrari driver. DRS flap opens, but he hasn't got a lot of ERS left. He's drained it all already, and this is... Oh, it's going to be okay, actually. A 1 minute 8.2, and he's safely through to Q3. But a little dicier than he would have hoped for. I wonder if those are used soft tyres as well. 2.5 minutes to go. Scott, Aces do not feel safe out there. They've gone out and out laps. Same with Reshka. He doesn't feel safe either. Aces, of course, is got a nice half a second cushion down to Jacko, but that doesn't really say much. Because if all it takes is one person to improve, and Patty proves that as he comes across the line to go into 11th, it's still not enough to get him to Q3, and I think that's probably his campaign for Q3 over now. 1 minute 50 left. He'll have time to go again, but he'll be on worn tyres, and I don't think he'll be able to find half a second on those tyres, but who knows? We'll find out. Robin Brain doesn't think he's safe. We'll see. Clemo's definitely got room to improve, but Mahmood and Vader Boy, I think, will struggle to get into the top 10 now. Patty Pat, I think, is already gone. Giacalacco and Clemo, I think, are the only ones who can really get up there. And Robin's already in P8, but if Reshka and Aces can beat him, then he is far from safe. And indeed, he has gone out on an outlap. Zoxurus and above all feel safe, and I would agree with them. To be honest, I think Robin Brain and up are safe at this point, as we see Scott going into the wall to desperately get out of the way of Aces, who's not even on a lap right now. And here we go, 56 seconds to go in this session. Can Aces stay in the top 10 and find his way through to Q3? Patty Pat's out. He is coming to the pits. No more improvement for him. So it's all on these guys at the back. Jacko, Clemo, Mahmood and Vader Boy. Can they spring a surprise as well and get themselves in the mix for Q3? We're about to see the man from India here in the Sauber. And if I remember rightly, I'm pretty sure anyway. Mahmood, I'm not sure where he's from. But Reshka does find the improvement that he needed. Up to P7 he goes, and that should see him safely through. Just 9 thousandths behind Zoxurus. He didn't improve by that much, but the positions, I think, should be enough. Robin Brain, oh, whoa, 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 big slide, so there won't be an improvement for him, and this will now put his comment to the test. He said that he doesn't think he's safe. Well, let's find out. Aces versus Kings coming through the final corner. Here comes Jacko, but he's invalidated, so he will not be improving. Vaderboy the same, but what about Clemo? He comes to the line and does go to P10, knocks Aces out, but Robin Brain is still in it unless Mahmood can find a huge amount of time here at the end. The Alpine driver needs to find 7 tenths to get himself into Q3, and he was down in Sector 1, so he needs a mighty second half of the lap now. As he goes onto the grass, that's not mighty at all, and through he comes. It's a 52.3. He's 6 tenths down on his previous best, and Robin Brain is just about safe, but only thanks to Giacalacco invalid. Oh, okay, hello. Thanks for that glitch, EA. Very much appreciated. More drivers come across the line. Is that tyre going to explode into the giant realm as well? Don't think so. What is happening to Jacko's car? What is this? What is going on with this Haas? And the Alpine, actually. What? Look at that tyre on the top of the Alpine. Jacko's doing donuts. Well, there we have it. Q2 is over. Yeah, Robin, I saw it live. Don't you worry. Caught live on stream. But it's knocked you out, and that's what I mean. Sometimes the game just decides to knock out an extra driver for no reason, and Robin Brain is the unfortunate one who gets knocked out due to that. So only the top 9 through. He's confused in the chat. This is just how this game does things. It's done this for years for some reason with full qualifying. But Mahmood is apparently from Germany, so I'll keep that in mind. But he is out of the session. Ace is knocked out as well. And there we have it. Q3 now. The top 10 get to have a shootout for the final positions. Wait. Yes, hang on. I'm just reading the chat. Scott's right. Robin Brain's time was faster than Scott, but he's out. The game has said he's out and is behind him. Robin Brain's just been absolutely shafted here. Don't know what's gone on there, but anyway. I call corruption, says Harris. Hang on, let me read what Robin is saying in chat. I haven't got my stream on my phone. Jacko crashed on the line and then he hit him. What is happening? Just EA things. Just put it down to EA. And we'll leave it at that. Anyway, we're on to the final session. 10 more minutes of qualifying to go before we get into the race proper. But here we go. The two Red Bulls and the two Ferraris, both all into Q3. So their shootout for the Constructors' title is definitely going to go down to the wire. Palang is going to be the first to set a time, or to attempt to anyway. He comes through the center S's. Very nicely done, actually, from the Canadian. He's gotten very, very fast in recent months. But his racecraft still often leaves some to be desired, shall we say. But through Sector 2 he goes. Up the hill, turns 6 and 7. And nicely through there. You do see the lockup visually, but I don't think he actually locked up like there. Oh no, he definitely locked up there. He was wide of the apex. But down towards the last few corners he goes. 51-1 in the middle sector. That is outrageously quick. It's not, I don't think it's quite Carlitos pace, but it's pretty damn good from Palang. We'll see what it is across the line. He doesn't have a lot of ERS to spare. He's already used it all. So off he comes to the line, and a 7.9 is the initial pace from Palang. It's not bad at all. But I think Carlitos is going to have some things to say about that. Ace is 6/10 down on him, but Carlitos way down, actually. He's going to have to try again. And big slide through turn 1, and that's not going to help, and he's going to have to go again here, is the Spanish driver. So the favourite for pole, not able to get a lap time on the board so far. He's only got 8 more minutes. Johnny Stokes, the, well, I would say defending champion, but no longer champion. Martin has taken that crown with one race to spare. Zoxyrus also not able to set a lap on his first run. Here comes Scott. Is he anywhere close? No, he's also way down. So he's going to have to go again as well. What about our new champion, TF Martin? Through the middle sector he goes. We'll keep an eye on that time as he goes through the sector line in a couple of corners' time. 51-1 was the time for Palang on the exit of Sector 2. Here we go. It's a 51-1 as well for Martin. So here he goes. How much ERS has he got? Only 45%. That is going to run out well before the line. Same that happened to Palang. So here we go, into single digits, and he's going to have a loss of power now to the line thanks to that, but it is P2 nonetheless, a 10th behind his nearest championship rival. But one of his Constructors' Championship rivals, I think, is a better thing to say. Here comes Zoxyrus, though, getting a very nice toe off of his teammate. Lovely teamwork from the Ferraris. As Zoxyrus comes to the line, doesn't hug the wall. He had plenty of ERS left, and he gets onto the front row. So it's a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. With Red Bull, with Martin down in third, and Speed Alcoholic yet to set a time, but a 50.7 in Sector 2 is absolutely unbelievable. He's still got 50% ERS. He will still run out before the line, but it's still going to be a much better run than Martin had. This could be big from Speed, and it is a 7.3. Incredible time from the South African, and that has set the gauntlet down to Carlitos, who was by far the favourite for pole today. And Speed has just given him a bit of a wake-up call, and that is way faster than he did in APP just 2 hours ago. So I don't know what went wrong in his last race around here a couple hours ago, but he's found his pace now in ESRL. And well, when it matters, really. It was the season opener for APP. just a couple of hours ago, unlike here where it's the season finale. Well, Speed Alcoholic wants to take home the constructors for Red Bull. His teammates already won the drivers, so he wants a bit of a prize as well from this season. I believe he's won the constructors title in the main ESRL division before, at least once. I don't know about twice though. Reshka coming through. He's the only one on a lap at the moment in Sector 1. 18.6 in Sector 1. Yeah, no, that's way down, so he's going to have to go again. I think he's doing 2 out laps. I think that's what's happening here. As Carlitos comes to turn 1. Robin Brain says he's better in the race, so we'll see if that comes true. I do hope so, for your sake, Robin, because you didn't deserve to be knocked out there, in more ways than one, actually. But anyway, Carlitos, through Sector 1 he goes. A 10th up on his previous best, but he needs to find the time elsewhere, of course. Through Sector 2, Speed says he knows Carlitos is getting pole, but he's really happy with that lap. And so he should be. That is a brilliant lap when it really matters. So you've definitely given Carlitos something to think about. You set the gauntlet down. We'll see what his time is. It was a 50.7 for Speed at the end of Sector 2. Carlitos, 50.5, so he's 2/10 up. Through the final corner he goes. He's got more ERS than Speed did as well, only by a few percent, but it's still more than the South African had. To the line comes TTM Carlitos to take provisional pole. Yes, by a 10th of a second he goes up there. And that, I don't think, is going to be beaten. Aces starting a lap. Reshka as well in Sector 2. So here he goes through turns 7 and 8, or 6 and 7. Not too bad. Yeah, Harris, don't question it. It's just buggy EA F1 games. But, you know, it is interesting to wonder, to speculate on what the coding issues must be to make that happen. But anyway, Reshka, DRS open, down towards the line goes the Williams driver. This is not looking too bad. 1 minute 7.8 into the 1 minute 7, so he'll be happy with that. Just pips Palang to P6, so we'll see if the Canadian can fight back. Yeah, indeed, Harris, indeed. Aces to the line, but he's going to start a lap. In contrast, he's not got a lot of ERS left, though. Don't know why he's used so much down towards turn 1, but anyway, here he goes. Is he going to use any overtake to turn 4? No, he's saving it all up for the final straight, which I have seen a lot of people do. It seems to be the optimum thing, unless you have a bad exit out of a corner, in which case you can just tap it for half a second or so just to give you that extra power boost. But he's backed out. He's backed out of this lap as well as Aces. So 2.5 minutes to go. Aces not got a lot of time left to improve here. And Scott as well coming to the line to start his next attempt at a lap in Q3 to try and get himself out of 9th place. Down to turn 1 he goes. Nicely done through the center S's from Scott. That wasn't bad at all, you know. And he comes down towards turn 4. We've also got Zoxyrus on a lap, but he is not improving, so he's going to have to go again. Reshka into the pits, and there's not enough time, I don't think. I really don't think there's enough time. It's got a minute. No, I don't think so, especially with that slowdown. So Reshka will take no further part in this session. Scott, 16.9. Oh, through to sector 1, but a big spin in the middle sector. Just a little bit too much power. Tried to get the throttle on a little bit earlier to try and push for that all-important lap time, but just couldn't manage it, and now he has to save and try again, but on the same set of tyres it's going to have to be. So not ideal circumstances for the British driver as he comes around the final corner now to get going once again. What about Aces versus Kings? A 10th up in sector 1, but wide at that corner. Now to the end of sector 2, a 51.3. He is 2.5 tenths up, but he's going to need a lot more than that to get out of P8. He might make his position safer from the likes of Scott, but in terms of catching Palang, I think he's going to have to do a lot better than this. Down to the line he goes, and yeah, it's only enough for 8th place to improve his time. But he can't beat Palang, and P8 is where Aces is going to stay unless Scott can beat him. 17-1 through Sector 1 is not too bad, so we'll keep an eye on him, but we'll keep an eye on the front runners as well. Carlitos starting a lap, Speed Alcoholic the same, but he's way down in Sector 1, so no improvement for the South African. Zoxerus is going slow, nothing for him either. Martin, though, half a tenth up in the first sector. He's going to want to get himself ahead of the Ferraris. To give Red Bull the best possible start to this race in their bid for the Constructors' title. Aces coming through the middle sector, but yeah, he's way down, I think. Yeah, 9 tenths down. Scott coming to the line. Can he beat Aces to P8, or will he stay P9? Down he goes, it's not looking too good, and yeah, he's too far down, 6 tenths in the end down on the Haas driver, and he's going to stay in 9th place. What can Palang do? What can Martin do? What about Carlitos? Is he up on his previous best? We'll find out in a second. Zoxerus not on a lap, neither is Johnny Stokes. They've both bailed out. Can Martin beat them? No, he stays P5, but what about Carlito just behind? And he does improve by 8 thousandths of a second. It's not a big improvement, but it just solidifies his grasp on pole position today. Great lap from Carlito. And fantastic lap from Speed as well. Both of them the class of the field in Q3 today. If Mara and I finish in these positions, along with the Ferraris, let me bring up the chat. Do we win? Yeah, you win by a mile, Speed. You're 26 points, or 24, 23, something like that. That many points ahead. So you would need to have a complete disaster to not win the title. It's very possible, it can happen, but so don't get complacent. But you know, you don't have to take many risks to win the title, so keep that in mind. But it is Carlito on pole position with Speed Alcoholic alongside on the front row. Very close. It's a great effort from Speed to get that close to Carlito. I didn't think anyone would be anywhere near him. So we'll see how the race pace is very shortly, though. It is dry for this session, I have been told. Can't wait for this, says Robin Brain in the chat. Neither can I, Robin. This is going to be great. Always a good race around Brazil, and I'm sure this one is going to be no different. So here we go for the formation lap. All 16 drivers on the grid. See tyre choices. It's about half and half. Very interesting. It is the optimal strategy around here is hard medium. That is what I will say. But if there's an early safety car, it's definitely beneficial to start on the mediums, because you can go on to the hards to the end and not have to stop again. And those who started on the hards would have a lot more work to do. So an early safety car would make this very interesting. Barvish starting on the softs at the back as well, so watch out for him trying to pick his way through the pack early on, but also watch out for his tyres dropping off very, very quickly in the first stint. But other than that, pretty much even split across the board between hards and mediums. Just a slight edge in favour of mediums, but it's pretty much 50-50. See if the newbies have helmets. Vaderboy has Verstappen's helmet, so I can't really grade that. Mahmood has a black and white helmet with a nice little, what do you call that, a wreath at the top. That's not too bad. Don't mind that. I'll give that a 6. It's not too bad. Does Patty Pat have a helmet? No, he doesn't. Patty Pat. Goodness me, you call yourself a streamer and he doesn't even have a helmet. He's just got the default helmet. Unbelievable. God, he's not putting on a show for his fans, is he? Goodness me. Anyway. We're about to get ready for the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Here we go. The finale of ESRL Season 7 is just 5 lights away. And we're underway for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's a great start from pole for Carlito. Someone's driving across the track to cut off Martin in the background. Speed Alcoholic down the inside and takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Carlito runs Johnny wide at turn 3, but they've gone away with it just about. Martin gets past both Ferraris. What a start for the new champion. He goes down the inside of Johnny for turn 4 and makes the move stick. Brilliant stuff. Oh, but he's gone deep at turn 4 and Johnny's going to be back at him up the hill, but I don't think he's going to have enough, and Martin keeps the position. Brilliant start for Red Bull. They are now 1 and 3, the Ferraris 4 and 5, the 2 V-Carbs going wheel to wheel in the background. Robin Brain already up a couple positions. Let's put position changes on the screen. Martin up 2, Robin Brain up 2, and Barvish as well up 2 on those soft tyres. But good starts for those 3. Terrible start for Scott. He's down 3 positions, and Jacko down 2 as well. But everyone else relatively in order, bar the 1 or 2 position gains and losses. But down towards turn 1 they go for the second time as Carlito leads doesn't lead the way, but he's just behind Speed Alcoholic, and as long as he stays in DRS, he's going to have a fantastic chance of winning this race, as Robin Brain gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. I think that is the same thing that happened to Jacko in APP on Tuesday. A lot of lag there between either Robin or Aces, and they sent each other off the track. Aces is not going to be happy, but it's just, that's how the lag went. And if you cut turn 2 by the tiniest of margins, it can sometimes just give you a straight 3-second penalty, as Patty Pat and Clemo go wheel to wheel in sector 2. They're still side by side on the exit there, and finally Clemo backs out, does he? Yeah, he's going to have to there. Tries for the switchback, but just not enough exit speed on those hard tyres, and Patty Pat up to 10th place. Oh, but he's gone deep at the final corner, and Clemo gets back at him, but can't quite get ahead. Gets a bit of an oversteer moment. Patty Pat pushes him onto the curb, but all fine there as they go down towards turn 1, but it's going to be DRS for the Mercedes, and he will make that move stick. Very nicely done. Speed still leads, but Carlito just behind on those hard tyres. Here he goes down towards turn 1. DRS open. Is he going to make the move? He looks to the inside, but he decides against going for it. He's not interested at this stage. There's not really much point. Who's in front on lap 3? All that matters is who's ahead on lap 36. But Speed Alcoholic now the first to get a track limits penalty for multiple warnings already on lap 3, and that does not bode well for him for the rest of this race. Barvish makes up another position. He's now up to 11th from the back of the grid, so a great start for him. Patty Pat, by the way, has lost all of that time that he had. He was ahead of Clemo at the start of this lap, and now he's down to P12, 2 seconds behind him. The top runners continue to go through, though. The top 9 in a train of their own, but Palang has lost out on this lap. As here comes Carlito, dives to the inside of the Red Bull into turn 1. Is going to make that move stick. Speed tries to get back at him on the exit, but he can't quite get it to happen. And they're going to go down towards turn 4 now. Speed will have the DRS again. Can he make this move again? And yes, he does. Back up into first place goes the South African. Oh, there's contact. Carlito breaks a little bit too late, hits the back of the Red Bull, but they've just about stayed on the track. That could have been a lot worse. Zoximus under pressure from Reshka up the hill. Reshka around the outside, but Zoximus just keeps his foot on the inside and stays where he is. Nicely defended from the Ferrari driver. We've seen plenty of incredible overtaking moves from this man this season, and that was a bit of defense from him. Which you don't often see. Palang now 9/10 behind. Is he going to have the DRS? The detection point's just after this corner. It's going to be close, but he will get it. So it will still be a 9-car train for P1 as we head down for lap number 5 of 36. Speed Alcoholic leads the way. Carlito chooses not to overtake at turn 1 this time. Maybe he'll get him into turn 4. Robin Brain makes his way past Reshka in the background. Up to P6 goes the V-Carb driver, but Reshka, here he goes around the outside, on the inside for turn 3, and he gets it done. Aces around the outside of Palang as well for P8 in the meantime, just behind. So good moves from the Haas driver. Can we get overlays for driver ERS? No, we can't, Bananarama, because it wouldn't be fair. If anyone is watching the stream, they don't even have to listen to me to figure out. From context clues, who's got ERS? Aces goes round in Sector 2 and loses all of that good progress that he made. He's back down to P10. But what I will do, Bananarama, is occasionally I will let you know from steering wheels around about who has what ERS, but I'm not going to show it on the screen because it would be unfair, especially considering I'm pretty sure you're a regular viewer of Patty Pat, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, if you're feeding him ERS information, that would not be fair to everyone else. But Martin comes through as Speed Alcoholic and Carlito go wheel to wheel through turn 1 and get a little bit, what's the word? I can't find my words. But anyway, Speed Alcoholic is ahead in the end, but Carlito did not make that easy, and it's 3 wide further back, up the hill, surely not. The 2 Ferraris back out of it in the end, just about. Martin stays ahead for P3. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a very long day. I'd be a lot better at commentary today if it hadn't been such a long day and a long week for me. But anyway, they all still go through. This DRS train continues. The top 7, all within DRS range of each other. Palang and Clemo have now fallen off the back of them after Ace's spin. But Carlitos leads the way. The two Red Bulls still behind, even after that kerfuffle at turn 1 and all the way down to turn 4. They just about got away with it. Here we go. Carlito leads. Speed Alcoholic, but Martin under pressure from the Ferrari behind. Johnny Stokes and Zoxerus want to take the fight to the Red Bulls. They know they need the two Red Bulls to have an absolute disaster for them to have a chance at snatching the constructors. So they've got to take the race to them. They can't just sit behind them all race long and try and pounce at the latter stages of the race. They've got to take it to them now and try to force them into mistakes, because otherwise the Red Bulls will just very happily cruise along behind them to secure the constructors, I'm sure. Speed does have a time penalty already. Jackalacco gets one as well now, which adds to the pile. And there will be many more of those, I'm sure, as this race goes on. Tough to stay within track limits on this circuit, especially with no assists like all of these drivers are using. But Martin fallen off the back of his teammate a little bit thanks to that drama with the Ferraris. Johnny Stokes gets a poor exit out of the final corner though, and Zoxerus right behind him. Reshka in the background as well, looking for a way through. Robin Brain just about there too. The two Ferraris go wheel to wheel maybe, but Zoxerus backs out, not willing to get into a fight with his teammate at this stage. There's no point. It's all about the constructors, and talking of the constructors, Speed Alcoholic gets back into first place. Poor exit for Carlito out of turn 3. Martin looks to the inside, but switches back again onto the racing line. And Johnny Stokes, oh no, big mistake for the previous season's champion. He's down to P5 and he's got himself a track limits penalty as well. And he's just about stayed ahead of Reshka, but that penalty is very bad news for Ferrari if the race continues to be this close between this top 7. I'm sure Carlito and Zoxerus, though, are going to have a much better second stint. And that's actually really interesting that Zoxerus has also managed to stay with these guys on the hards. Very impressive from him so far as they go through the final corner. So Carlitos and Zoxerus, currently the favourites for the race win, especially with the penalties of the drivers around them, but particularly the tyres are what I'm watching. But Martin makes it 3 wide into turn 1. Carlito backs out just before it all goes wrong. Very sensible from the Aston Martin driver, but it's now a Red Bull 1-2. But Carlito's going to come back at our new champion to the inside. Martin leaves him as little room as humanly possible, but they both get through okay. Carlito nearly hits the side of Speed Alcoholic through turn 4, but they've gone away with it. And Speed leads the way down through sector 2, but this is brilliant racing between these guys, and the two Ferraris just have to sit back and watch for now. Johnny Stokes, though, struggling a little bit, lost a bit of time since we last checked, but he's just about staying in touch at the moment, as is Reshka and Robin Brain behind. But those medium tyres are going to start fading a little bit at this stage as we head on to lap 10 of 36. I would expect the mediums to come in around lap 14, 15, 16, that range. Maybe a little later than that, but the undercut's so strong around here that I'd be very surprised if they did leave it any later. Here they go again down towards turn 1, 3 wide, and this time they've sent it. They haven't, no one's backed out this time, and Martin takes advantage and now leads the Grand Prix. Disaster for Speed. He's down to P5. It's going to be 6 after Reshka gets back at him, but it's going to be 3 wide again into turn 1. Martin getting absolutely swamped by Carlito to the inside, and now Zoxerus has the inside for turn 5. Oh, they just about stay, all 4 wheels on the track. I see Robin Brain backing out of an overtake on Speed up the hill further back, but Carlito back into the lead as Martin made it 3 wide. Palang the next victim of track limits, but there'll be plenty of those. And I'm sure there'll be plenty in at the front as well. We've only got Johnny, Speed and Robin Brain with penalties, but I think Robin's is probably removable, but he's now 2 seconds down. So I'm not sure what happened there. Must have been a mistake from the V-Carb driver, I would imagine. So he has now got to push very hard to get back in that DRS train, and that is not going to be easy at all. It's an uphill battle for him from this point onwards as the top two swap positions again, but Zoxyrus tries to make the move as well. Down the inside, he gets it stopped. I think there was contact though, but Zoxyrus is into second place, and well, on those hard tyres, he is doing a stellar job right now in that Ferrari, and he's going to try and take the lead here. Down towards turn 4, to the inside he goes. Martin leaves the room. It's 3 wide, and Carlito gets them both on the exit. What a brilliant move from the Spaniard to retake the lead. All this jostling and bustling doesn't mean anything at this stage though. As long as they're all in the DRS train, it doesn't really matter, because it's all about later in the race when this is really going to start mattering. But at this stage, there's still a pit stop to go. But the two hard tyre runners now, seeing their tyres get a little bit better than those mediums behind, and Carlito leading from Zoxyrus, but Zoxyrus has to pounce here. Gets a brilliant exit out of that corner compared to Carlito, and should be able to get him down to turn 1. Crucial move this could be, because I can see Carlito just streaking clear if they're not careful here. Martin, though, goes down the inside of both of them and retakes the lead. A double overtake from him. It leaves Zoxyrus a poor line, and Carlito takes full advantage and retakes second place. This is absolutely brilliant battling between these top 5. Speed's just about in range. They're all over the road down towards turn 4. Reshko on the inside of the Ferrari behind. He makes the move on Johnny Stokes. He's up to P4, and the top 4 now, all without track limits penalties, in stark contrast to Johnny and Speed. But all of this battling is letting Robin Brain catch back up. He's almost within a second. Now he is back within a second, and Palang joins the party as a result. It's now a top 8 DRS train, and this is fantastic stuff. Carlito leading the way, but it's so close between all of these drivers. The pit stops will spread things out though. This will not last, because they'll all come in at different times, especially hard and medium runners, and the undercut is going to be massive. It's all going to be in the last few laps where this race is decided, I think. But Martin round the outside of Carlito. Zoxyrus makes the move as well, and it's 3 wide further back as Reshka gets swamped. Speed goes very deep for turn 1, almost down into Venezuela there as he goes through. He just about keeps it pointing in the right direction, but he's down to P6, and Zoxyrus now takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Just about leaves Mar enough room on the exit there. Speed with another penalty. Barvish is out though, and that's a safety car early on, well, fairly early on in this race. Barvish just bins it on the exit of turn 1. So easy to do, especially on 12 lap old soft tyres. Goodness me, no wonder he binned it. But we can calm down a little bit now and just get our bearings. It is Zoxyrus who leads, and now this is going to be actually quite important of which teammate is ahead, because Johnny Stokes and Speed are going to get a double stack here if everyone stops, and they're going to lose out to Robin and Palang, so not an ideal timing for them at all. But into the pits is Zoxyrus going to come. Yep. What about Martin? Yep, he's in. Everyone's going to be in here. All the medium runners will be onto the hards. All the hard runners will be onto the mediums. But they've got it. Oh, my goodness me. Both V-Carbs sending it for the pit entry. Robin Brain and Palang both absolutely mugging Speed there. He's going to lose time to the double stack anyway, but he's been mugged in broad daylight there by the two V-Carbs. He's down to P8. And Johnny Stokes to P7, and Robin Brain and Palang to 5 and 6, thanks to those double stacks in front of them. So everyone into the pits. Vader Boy gets a drive through for speeding under the safety car. Very avoidable mistake that is. That is unfortunate for him. But the top 4 with no time penalties to speak of, but now the roles are reversed. And another drive-through for Vader Boy. What on earth is he doing? Is he just going to retire in the pits, or what is happening here? But anyway, Why does it say communicating with online services? Okay, I think it's fine. But the top 4 now, like I said, roles have reversed. All those who were on the hard tyres in the first stint, who had the big advantage for the second, it's the ones who started on the mediums who have the advantage, because they can take those hards to the end pretty easily. The mediums will go, but they'll be really struggling by the end of this race. There's still 22 laps left to go on the end of this one. That's a long way to go on medium tyres. So they'll be strong to start with, but the latter stage of this race, Zoxyrus, Carlitos and Palang, going to be in quite a bit of bother. Right, I don't know if the safety car is going to wait for Vader Boy here. I think he tried to serve his drive-through under the safety car, which you can't do. So out he comes. It's not going to be in this lap, so it is trying to wait for him, and I wonder how long it's going to wait for him. That's the big question, because the longer it waits, the better the situation for Zoxyrus and Carlito on those medium tyres, but I don't know if because Vader Boy, I don't know if he's going to keep trying to serve his drive-throughs without realizing that he can't do it under the safety car, but he could actually have quite a bearing on how this race ends, because the longer he delays that safety car coming in, the more effect it's going to have. Yeah, he's in again. He's trying to serve his drive-throughs, but he can't under the safety car, and this is actually going to cause quite a long delay to the safety car coming in. I do wonder when the game is going to give up and just send it in anyway. Oh, okay, there we go. That solves the problem. Vader Boy has retired from the session, so the safety car should now be in this lap. And it's going to be Zoxyrus who leads us off from Martin and Carlito, and then Reshka in P4 doing well as well, but all those top 4 without a track limits penalty. They are the favourites, but Johnny Stokes, don't forget about him and Speed. Speed with 6 seconds of penalties, Johnny Stokes with 3. It's going to be tough for them. But remember, Ferrari need a miracle. They need both Red Bulls to have a complete disaster, and for themselves to be quite high up the grid as well. If Zoxyrus wins and both Red Bulls are out, then Ferrari already win the title. But you know, I think it's going to be a lot more complicated than that. So we will see. Zoxyrus is going to get us back underway. He's waiting very long time, and he finally goes. He has punched it down towards turn 1. He's caught Martin off. So he's done a very good restart there. But Palang and Robin Brain going wheel to wheel. The two V-carbs into turn 1. They're still side by side. There's contact. Robin Brain loses out and loses position to Speed. Disaster for Johnny Stokes, because he's now embroiled in all of this. He's going to be nearly 3 wide into turn 4 as Clemo tries to get involved as well. Mar10 takes the lead, but Johnny Stokes keeps P8. Here comes Clemo, can't quite get it done as Zoxerus loses another position, could be another one, but he just about stays ahead of Reshka. But oh no! Palang into the back of Reshka into turn 6. They've both gotten back facing the right way very quickly, so a great job from Reshka, great car control there, but Palang down to turn 10, and well, Zoxerus was all out of shape through turn 4, 5 and 6, and just the heavy braking caught Palang off guard. I think it is still Palang's fault is what I would say, but that is a matter for the stewards. Reshka is not going to be a happy man. He has lost a lot of positions, and that could be crucial because all the drivers ahead of him on hards, he could lose the DRS to the top 3 or the top 4, and that would be his chances at a podium. Not over, but with a lot more work to do. Here comes Carlito around the outside of Mar10, and the medium tyres working to full effect for the Spaniard. And now here's his chance. He needs to have a fantastic middle sector here if he wants to drop the Red Bull out of DRS. He's got a great chance because those hards are still not going to be good at this stage in the race. And Zoxerus going down the inside is just going to help Carlito. They're going to go wheel to wheel through all of this next corner, but Carlito could manage to get the DRS out of range here. Zoxerus gets the move done. 9 tenths, 8 tenths is the gap. What an exit that was for Zoxerus. And the German driver, he needs a good one out of here as well. Is he going to get it? Yes, he is. 7 tenths, and he stays in the DRS. That was very, very risky from Zoxerus, but a good move in the end. Very opportunistic, and once again, he proves that he is the best overtaker in ESRL, and I will say that. I will give him that title, and I'm pretty confident in saying that. The best overtaker in ESRL, certainly this season, and I cannot wait to see that man race more in this league. He goes down the inside of Carlito and retakes the lead of this race that he had before the safety car came in. But great stuff from the Ferrari, and if he makes all the races next season, he is very much in contention for the title, absolutely. But the two Red Bulls, 3 and 4. Johnny Stokes down in 6th at the moment, but remember, Speed has more penalties than him, so he will jump up to 5th. But as it stands, this is still nowhere near enough for the Ferraris. They need a lot more than this. Zoxerus is gaining 10 points on Mar10. Johnny Stokes would gain 2 points on Speed, but they need 23. So they're still 11 points off. In fact, 12, because they would lose on countback as well. 12 points away from securing the title. They need at least one of those Red Bulls to have a complete nightmare in these last 17 laps. Mar10 takes P2, almost as if in response to that, but here comes Carlito retaking that position down towards turn 4, and Speed Alcoholic trying to get involved as well around the outside of his teammate. He makes it happen, but remember, these two Red Bulls have come to bear already this season. There was contact between them in Hungary as Speed down the inside of Carlito for turn 6. Surely not. He backs out of that one very wisely so. That could have been a disaster right there. But he's gone away with it. And yeah, if we remember, take us back a few weeks to Hungary, the two Red Bulls, they were fighting it out at the front of the field with a few other drivers. And then down towards turn 1, they came together. And Speed was sent all the way to the back, and then Mar10 had problems of his own trying to fight with Short Marcus in that race, and he dropped all the way to the back as well. So that's what Ferrari need. They need something like that to happen once again to those two Red Bulls, but I'm sure they're going to play it a lot safer than they did back in Hungary. Carlito a little bit slow through turn 1, and that's another penalty for Speed Alcoholic. 9 seconds now for the South African. Let's put penalties on the screen. It's 6 seconds for Robin Brain, 3 for Johnny Stokes. And then 3 for Aces, Patty Pat, Mahmood and Scott, and 6 for Jacko as well at the back of the field. Patty Pat gets his way up to P10, getting past Jacko at turn 4. Good move from the McLaren driver. Here comes Jacko around the outside, perhaps. Can't quite get it to work up the hill, but these two are going to keep battling, I'm sure, as this race continues. Zoxerus still leads from Carlito. He's doing a fantastic job at the front there. Palang has left the session, but he was already out of the race. So that's no big deal as Carlito gets a bit squirrely on the exit of the final corner. He is struggling a little bit, and those mediums are not going to serve him well towards the end either. Here comes Speed Alcoholic. Looks to the outside, but look at the straight line speed from Carlito. Just a little more ERS in the tank, I think, for the Aston Martin, and he stays ahead. And yeah, plenty more ERS in the tank. Nearly 100% in that Aston Martin. Zoxerus is doing pretty well with it as well. Speed, very little in the tank for him, but Martin saved well too as Johnny Stokes down the inside just as we ride on board with Robin Brain. That was a great shot. And Johnny into 5th place. And yeah, Reshka is going to be not happy at all with Palang in the steward's room, because that incident almost certainly cost him a chance at the podium here. He's now well out of DRS range because he was stuck behind those drivers with hard tyres thanks to the incident. And, well, Clemo's got front wing damage just behind him, as does Aces, I think. I don't think either of them... Yeah, no front right end plate on either of those cars. So Reshka is defending from drivers without all of their front wings, which just adds insult to injury really for him, as it's going to be 3 wide for the lead of the race into turn 1. Zoxerus backs out. He yields just about in time. He sees that he saw the writing on the wall, and Speed Alcoholic gets into the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix at about the halfway mark of this, or the 2/3 mark of this race now. Carlito gets him back towards turn 4. Speed leaves the room for Zoxerus on the outside, but shuts the door on the exit. Good defending from the Red Bull. And now here's when things are starting to really matter. Just 13 laps to go at the end of this one. And Carlito leads, but these 4 swapping positions left and right lap after lap, and if this continues as the race goes on, Zoxerus big rear lockup into turn 8, turn 9, sorry, he just about gets it under control, but goodness gracious me, it's so easy to lock the rears on this circuit because you have to run the brake bias so low, because otherwise you just front lock up all the time, and you can't get any turning into the corners, so you have to run it low, but that leaves you vulnerable to rear lockups if you don't get the trail braking right, and Zoxerus proving that there at turn 9. I'm sure that's not the first rear lockup we'll see today. It's probably not the first one that's happened. We've probably missed the other ones that have happened today. But Zoxerus and Speed Alcoholic on the warpath on Carlito down towards turn 4. Carlito stays ahead for now, but all these drivers getting very feisty now. Just 13 laps left to go. As Scott gets himself a penalty further back in P12. He needs a bit of a miracle now to get points. Same with Jack Alaco, who's 21 seconds behind him. But Mahmood currently on track for points on debut, or at least a point. So he's doing a decent job, but he's got Patty Pat right behind him, and Patty's definitely not going to tread lightly. He's going to want that point just as badly, if not more. As Carlito is going to be under pressure now from Speed down towards turn 1. Once again, DRS open for the Red Bull, and Speed is going to lead this Grand Prix, I think. There he goes, easily done. Zoxerus is going to get him too. Is he down the inside of turn 1? They go wheel to wheel. Carlito does not yield, and Zoxerus does. He tries to get the better exit for turn 3, but it's just not happened. And now he's under pressure from Martin, who goes down the inside. What a brilliant move move this would be from our new champion, but they're still side by side through turn 4. Zoxerus holds it around the outside. Brilliant racing between these two, but Ma gets ahead. He's up to third place. Great stuff between those two drivers who've battled long and hard this season, all season long really. Same with Johnny Stokes. But it's Martin who gets the better of the Ferrari on this occasion. And Red Bull still doing more than enough to secure the Constructors' title. But all it takes is one of them. If one of them has a nightmare, one of them spins, one of them bins it into the wall, one of them has an incident with Carlito, suddenly the Ferraris would be in the driving seat for the Constructors. So they still have to be careful here, the Red Bulls. And Speed nearly dropped Carlito out of DRS there. But he's going to have to drop him faster than that. I would say he needs to drop him about as quickly as Red Bull dropped Daniel Ricciardo. That's what I would say, to try and get himself into the lead of this race undisputed. Carlito went down the inside for turn 4, but he couldn't make it stick. He will keep the DRS, but Speed has got some pace here, and these mediums are starting to fade already, and they've still got another 11 laps to do. It is not looking good for Carlito and Zoxerus. We were saying that Carlito was the man to beat today, and he certainly was, but now not so sure. He is still in the net lead of this race, but those mediums are going to fade very quickly from this point onwards, I would say, compared to the hards. And look how much time Speed is gaining through the middle sector. Carlito back at him with the DRS, but as soon as he drops that 1 second range, then Carlito's going to be in some trouble here. He goes to the inside for turn 1, and he's going to make that move stick, I think. The Spanish driver back into the lead of this Grand Prix, from which he started on pole. As Martin still following on behind as well, with Zoxerus in tow. Johnny Stokes is there as well. Robin Brain has fallen out of range in the meantime, 1.1 seconds, but all it takes is a bit of battling and he'll be straight back in the fight. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so he would jump Speed as it stands. But Speed has jumped Carlito while we weren't watching at turn 7. How's he managed to do that? What a brilliant move from the South African. Carlito down to second. It's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but he's putting on a show with Speed Alcoholic, even with the 9 seconds of penalties. Martin now, just behind the Aston Martin, is going to put the pressure on. The Red Bulls, they'll know that Speed has the penalty, and if anything happens to Martin, they're in a big spot of bother for the Constructors. So it's in particular Martin who has to be careful here. Jacko's retired in the pits. He's had enough. I don't blame him. He was never going to get points anyway unless there was a safety car, and it doesn't look like there's going to be one, but maybe there will here through turns 2 and 3. Carlito and Martin wheel to wheel. Carlito keeps the position, and now Ma is going to be vulnerable to Zoxerus behind down towards turn 4. Carlito has the DRS on Speed as well. Speed looks to the inside. Zoxerus can't decide whether to go left or right. Eventually he chooses to yield, and I think he had 2 wheels on the grass briefly there, so I'm amazed that he didn't spin out. But it is still Speed who leads. He managed to fend off the Aston. An audacious dive bomb attempt from the Red Bull. Probably harsh to call that a dive bomb. He was perfectly within his rights to go for it, but Carlitos saw it coming and just calmly fending him off. But Speed now 6 tenths ahead, 6.5. Is that going to go up further at the final corner? Yes, 7 tenths, 7.5, 8 tenths, 8.5. Nearly drops him once again, but Carlito with a huge ERS still in the tank, but actually not as much. The tides have turned. It used to be Speed who was struggling for the ERS, but now Carlito has less than him. So the outlook has changed quite significantly since we last checked in on the battery life. But Speed Still leading the way. Carlito's going to have him in the DRS to the outside of turn 4. He has an opportunity. Speed just about crowds him out fairly. But Carlito knows as long as he stays in P2 here, he will win this race. But he would much rather be in the lead, I think. Or maybe he wouldn't be. Maybe that would give Martin a better opportunity. But Zoxerus goes to the inside of Martin. Tries to do what Martin did to Carlito. He's copying him just behind. But Zoxerus, he doesn't really need to copy to make some good overtaking moves. He's perfectly adept at that all by himself. Robin Brain has caught back up now, so he would definitely jump Speed as it stands, as long as he doesn't get another penalty. And, well, Speed Alcoholic at this point in a net P6. So, like I said, Martin bins it into the wall, and suddenly Ferrari are looking like they would be able to take the constructors, but not if Robin Brain can help it. He sends it down the inside, and Martin finally gets the move done on Carlito. He's up to second place, and I wonder if there's going to be some team play from Red Bull here. Will Martin back off in Sector 2 to slow everyone else down and give Speed an opportunity to get further ahead? I do wonder. I don't think that's the kind of driver Martin is. I think he's going to go all out for the win and try and stay in the DRS of Speed, but who knows? I do wonder. Zoxerus, under pressure from Robin Brain, he looked to the inside of Carlito, but actually he came under attack in the end, and through they go, just about keeping it clean. I think Martin's doing exactly what I said. Let's see his throttle input on the exit here. It's, maybe. I think he might just be slower than Speed, but through they go. He's done what he had to do, if he was indeed doing it on purpose. Martin now 1.6 behind Speed, and this is a big opportunity for the South African to gain a huge amount of time and try and drop this pack behind him. Martin is keeping Carlito behind as well. Carlito to the inside. It's 3 wide further back for the Ferraris and Robin Brain. Carlito gets ahead, but Mars going to have the DRS to turn 4. Zoxerus and Robin came to blows just behind through turn 3, and that's going to open the door for Johnny Stokes around the outside. Martin, here he goes to the inside, but he hasn't got enough DRS. He sends it anyway to turn 4, but Carlito crowds him out, shuts the door. Great defending from the Aston Martin, and now Carlito can get off after Speed. Zoxerus forced onto the grass. He tries to go around the outside up the hill. That's never going to work anyway, but Martin just a little bit harsh perhaps on the room that he left to the Ferrari, but all's fair, I think, in a season finale with a championship on the line. Johnny Stokes still side by side with Robin Brain, but Robin locks the rear end and slides into the side of the Ferrari, which loses his momentum. He's back down to 6th place. Speed Alcoholic 1.8, 1.9 ahead. 6 or 5 laps left to go at the end of this one, and Speed, he's not going to win the race. He won't pull 9 seconds, but he might well be able to drop Robin Brain and finish P5 anyway, as Zoxerus gets both Martin and Carlitos. What a brilliant move from the Ferrari. He's up to 2nd place. Martin and Carlitos just behind, still going wheel to wheel. Here comes Martin on the Ferrari in the meantime to turn 4. He gets it done, and Zoxerus down to P3 again. A little bit squirrely on the exit, and Zoxerus is going to try the same thing. Martin, is he going to crowd him onto the grass again? No, not this time. Very fair. Leaves just about enough room, pretty much to the pixel, and Martin again stays ahead as Zoxerus tries to send it. I know there's action going on further back, but it's so hard to cut away from these front guys, and disaster for Martin. What has happened? He's lost the rears, and how is Speed? Oh, sorry, Speed was way ahead anyway, and Martin is slowing down these guys so much now. Robin Brain down the inside of Carlitos into the final corner. Zoxerus is going to have a run on Martin towards turn 1, but look at this gap. Speed might win the race anyway. Look at this. 4 seconds is the gap now. He needs 9 to Zoxerus Zoxerus or whoever's in P3, as long as they don't have a penalty. But Martin with a 3-second penalty. Oh no, Speed, he's ruined it. He's ruined all the hard work that Martin's been doing with another track limits penalty. That's him up to 12 seconds, and surely now he will lose out. He might still manage to get P5 though. Zoxerus and Martin onto the grass. Oh, Martin off the road. He takes the Max Verstappen line at turn 4, and he's all the way down to P6 now. Carlitos and Zoxerus take over 2 and 3. Johnny Stokes on the inside. Robin Brain way down. Martin down the inside, but he's locked the rears, and Robin Brain's going to be back at him. This is incredible stuff with just 3.5 laps left to go in this race. The Red Bulls, they don't need to take these risks. They just don't need to. They can cruise home and win this title. But Martin trying to help out his teammate and now lagging a huge amount. Goodness me. Just lagging right behind Robin Brain there. But Robin's not got the DRS now. Zoxerus is going to have it though on Carlitos as they go down towards turn 1. Martin gets back ahead of Robin Brain. I don't know if that was lag or DRS, but Zoxerus to the inside, and that's moved on pretty simply in the end for the Ferrari. Johnny Stokes still has that 3-second penalty, but as it stands, he's looking at third place. Zoxerus is looking at the race win. Carlitos has a chance to spoil the party for Ferrari, but would that be enough? That's the question. Let's keep penalties on the screen now from now on, because it's easier to see for all of you at home. And let's put gap to leader. Speed, 12 seconds of penalties, but Robin Brain's 8 seconds behind. So Speed would only drop to P5 here, and Martin would in fact take P4 because Johnny Stokes has 6 seconds. So the Red Bulls still at the moment doing plenty enough to take the constructors home. But Ferrari, Zoxerus would beat Martin by 10 points. And Johnny Stokes would beat Speed by 4 points. So, yeah, Red Bull still doing more than enough to secure the title, but they just need a little more. 2 more laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Plenty of time for something to go wrong for this man, Martin, and same for Speed Alcoholic. He does have those 12 seconds of penalties, but if one of them bins it, suddenly it's looking very good for Ferrari. Martin battling with Robin Brain. Aces versus Kings, getting past Reshka further back, but he does have 6 seconds of penalties to Reshka's 0. Here comes Martin around the outside. Oh, he's been crowded out of turn 4. He will not be happy with that one. Robin Brain keeps P5, but this is all costing Martin time. He might not even beat Speed at this rate, but it doesn't matter for the constructors between him and his teammate. Patty Pat and Mahmoud have come to blows by the looks of things. Mahmoud all the way down, spins it, and he's into P11 and out of the race for points, unfortunately. So Patty Pat should be able to get himself a point from this race. Reshka will take P7 as it stands, but oh, it could have been so much more without the contact with Palang. That's certainly what he will think, and he will be not too happy in the paddock with that V-Carb driver after this race, I should think. On to the final lap we go. Robin Brain and Martin wheel to wheel again as Mar around the outside of the V-Carb. They're still side by side through turn 2. Oh, and Martin gets a little bit squirrely. I think there might have been contact. Martin kept hold of it though, crucially. If he'd binned it into the wall, then that could have been a final lap decider for who was going to win the constructors. But the race win is still very much in the balance. Reshka getting past Aces further back. Martin with another time penalty, and now he will finish P6. He might even finish P7 because Reshka is 4 seconds back. Or only 5 seconds back. So Martin losing another position perhaps. Speed Alcoholic 12 seconds ahead. I'll work out the championship standings after all is said and done. I can't work out the maths right now, but through the final corner comes Speed Alcoholic. He will win the race on track, but can Zoxerus get the win down towards the line? He's got plenty of ERS left, but so does Carlito. He's going to have the DRS. Is it enough for Zoxerus to take the race win? I don't think he's close enough. He needed a better exit out of turn 12, and it's not enough. Carlito takes the win in Brazil. Speed Alcoholic somehow manages to get P3 despite having 12 seconds of penalties. What a bit of teamwork it was for Martin to give him that gap that he needed. Reshka manages to finish in the top 5 in the end thanks to the penalties, so he did actually do pretty well in the end, but he would have definitely thought he would have had a podium. Speed, if only I didn't have penalties. Indeed, mate, indeed. As I believe that means, yeah, absolutely, there's no way. Zoxerus beats Speed by 3 points. Who had fastest lap? Scott. So Zoxerus beats Speed by 3 points. Johnny Stokes beats Martin, I believe, by 6 points. So only a 9-point swing. The Ferraris needed 24. Red Bull are your Constructors' Champions for ESRL Season 7. Congratulations to Speed and Martin on their well-earned double championship victory this season. And congratulations to Carlito for taking the race win under quite difficult conditions there, with so many drivers competing for it. And well, we thought at some point in qualifying that he might run away with this race. Even after qualifying, we thought that Carlito would be the runaway victor, but in the end he really had to work hard for it. So there we have it. Carlitos takes the race win in the finale in Season 7 by just 1/10 of a second from Zoxerus, who was so close to completing the ultimate season win sandwich with his only 2 wins would have been in the season opener and the season finale. That would have been funny. Speed Alcoholic finishes P3 despite the penalties, largely thanks to Martin holding up the pack. Johnny Stokes misses out on the podium thanks to his penalties. Reshka promoted to 5th after the penalties ahead, but he'll be fuming with Palang, I imagine. Robin Brain, Martin, Clemo, Aces and Patty Pat take the rest of the points, with Mahmood and Scott finishing a little too far back, 4 points in the end. Jackalacco, Palang, Vader Boy and Barvish were unable to finish the Grand Prix. Whoa, what a championship, what a race. Always a good one here in Brazil, and today was no exception. Well done to Carlito, congratulations to Red Bull. My driver of the day for today, I think I'm going to give it to Zoxerus, because he was really impressive in the first stint, and then the second just so close to the race win. But just not quite there. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. And he put some outrageous overtakes. Xeros, my driver of the day for today. But thank you all ever so much for watching today, and of course for the rest of this season as well. It has been a pleasure to commentate ESRL as always. Yeah, definitely Speed. Definitely. Once you get the first track limits penalty, it's so hard because you feel like you have a barrier after the first penalty, and then you get another warning, and then it's a snowball effect. So yeah, that sort of thing can happen. But there we go. Thank you all ever so much. It's been a wonderful season. Thank you all for watching. I'm really close to 200 subscribers, by the way. That happened fast. So I'd appreciate, I think I'm on 192. So anyone who's not subscribed, I would very much appreciate you subscribing to get me to that 200 barrier. But in the meantime, thank you all ever so much. How have 2 hours gone by? Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for watching the whole way through, Harris. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did, and I'm sure the drivers did too. Thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure. I will see you all next season for more ESRL on Fridays, but in the meantime, check out Monday evening. Usually I'm commentating PSGL, PSF3 on Monday evenings, but PSGL season is over. But the ESRL Cockpit Cam Championship is far from over. 3 points in it between Cialda and Reshka at the final race here in Brazil for the Cockpit Cam Championship on Monday night, I believe at 9 o'clock UK time, I think 9:15 or maybe 8:15. Let me check. I don't want to feed you misinformation on stream in case you want to watch. It is 8:30 apparently. Okay, 8:30 UK time. So keep that in your diaries because that is going to be a cracker. Reshka and Cialda going for the title. Neither of them have won an ESRL title before. Reshka hasn't even won a driver's title ever in his whole Formula One league racing career. So both of them gunning for their first ever driver's title in ESRL. It's going to be brilliant to watch. So do not miss it. In the meantime, though, that is on Monday. Thank you all ever so much. I will see you all on Monday, or if not, for next season of ESRL. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. I'm going to go rest my voice and my bones and my head and my mind and my brain and everything else after today. So I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.